All right. Hey, thanks for joining us here on a Sunday evening. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. This is going to be a weather discussion. What's going to happen this week for Thanksgiving? You've seen the stuff floating on social media. You've seen the forecast. They're all over the place. I want to kind of dive deep to the weather details, the forecast details of what we're kind of expecting so far. But once again, caveat to this. This is a very early look. Things are going to change. I want to kind of show you some ranges of options and places that we're kind of leaning towards and places that we're not so leaning towards. So let's get into the weeds. Thanks for joining us. It's a Sunday evening. We're wrapping up the weekend. Some of us are going to be done for the week. Maybe you're already traveling. Maybe you're trying to get ahead of this storm system that's going to try to make its way through. A lot of impacts all across the U.S., from the West Coast to the East Coast. So we're going to be talking about this system, how it's impacting central Indiana and kind of the region around us. Maybe you're headed to Illinois, see some family, Ohio, Kentucky, or Michigan. So what is headed our way? We've got a deepening low pressure that's going to form near the Ozarks, and it's going to come towards central Indiana and parts of southern Indiana as well, with a mix of some rain and snow chances. Got a couple new updates for you. First off, the storm system is looking a little bit weaker overall, and we'll get more into why, but just quick news flash. There's a whole bunch of cold air that's coming in for this week and into this coming weekend. The coldest air that we've had by far this season. We're talking about nights well into the teens, wind chills next to 0. So this is some serious cold. It's coming in so fast that this low pressure is almost kind of getting eaten up a little bit and won't have its full time to mature and get to its full potential, produce a whole bunch of stuff over us. So we've kind of shrunk the area of concern with this system, getting a little bit smaller. So now it's smaller. When it's tracking, there can be big changes, depends on who gets something and who doesn't get really much at all. But we do think there'll be a little bit of snow to the north and then probably a bigger rain section there towards the south. Still got a couple tracks to it. We're going to get into those tracks and what tracks that we're kind of leaning towards as we get to Wednesday and Thursday. And because this cold air is coming in so quickly, most of the impacts are going to be felt Wednesday night. Maybe a little bit Thanksgiving morning, whether that's rain or whether that is a little bit of snow. But it looks everything to be kind of moved up just a little bit. So much of Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, may not be so active with what's falling out of the clouds. We'll probably be cloudy and breezy with some snow showers and some flurries coming off Lake Michigan. But the main beast of the storm coming in is probably Wednesday night. Before we get into it, we've got to talk about where this cold air is coming from and how cold it is. These are actual current temperatures kind of registering up towards some of the northern territories and western provinces of Canada. This is some serious cold. Of course, we're headed towards December here shortly, so it's going to get cold. However, there's a lot of snowpack. I'm going to hit this button. You're going to see it try to form. There it is. The white layer that we put over on top of the temperatures shows you the current snowpack. Where you don't see the ground, you see snow, a couple inches of snow, and sometimes a couple feet of snow. The snowpack is pretty much completely engulfed half of Canada, western half of Canada, and pretty much all of Alaska is now covered in that snow. This snowpack is pretty impressive. Now we see it shrink, we see it expand, but generally it is slowly expanding over time. But it's pretty healthy right now. And so as the air is sitting over all this snowpack, and then the pink color you see right here at the top, that's all the sea ice that's now reformed because we're headed towards winter. All this cold air has been sitting up here, but the air that's sitting on top of the snow gets even colder and eventually gets so cold and so dense it's got to go somewhere, and it's coming at us in a big way. This will be the first huge push of some cool air. These are just our low temperatures expected this week, so a lot of times this happens in the mornings, early mornings. Tomorrow not bad, but then we're next to freezing, and then we're in the 20s by Black Friday morning. I tell you what, Black Friday morning, it's a doorbuster. It's not one of those that's online. You're going to work for it Friday morning. And then Small Business Saturday. And of course, we've also got all the football championships, state championships. We've got 2, 4, and 6A, I believe Friday, and 1, 3, and 5A on Saturday. It's going to be cold, and we keep getting colder. Tonight at 11, I'm going to show you the 10-day forecast, and I'll show you how long-lasting this cold air is going to be. So now let's get into some of the precipitation chances. We looked at this beast of the cold air that's coming in. That's honestly probably the biggest story moving forward, will be that cold air. As it's being ushered in, you got some fronts. So what's going to happen with some of these fronts as we get to Wednesday and Thursday? We think the bulk of the precipitation, whatever happens, will take place Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, maybe up until about 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, Thanksgiving morning. So when grandma's up, getting the ovens hot and ready, we may still have some action, and then this rain and snow chances will dwindle, but we're probably going to be really cold. And actually, there's a decent clipper system that may be coming on Saturday. We won't talk too much about this one yet. Still a ways out, but there's a lot of cold air and a quick clipper Alberta system coming in. Tell you what, maybe some more snow chances on the way. So we've got some new thoughts here for Thanksgiving Day. We kind of talked a little bit about the first one. Most of the activity will take place Wednesday night because this cold air is just rushing in so quickly and it's pretty robust. Now, if we get that all over with, really before the meat and potatoes come on Thanksgiving dinner and Thanksgiving lunch, we'll be talking about some lake effect snow showers, I think. So especially northern Indiana, we'll have those clouds, we'll have some light snow flurries. Will they completely coat everything? No, probably not across central Indiana. Northern Indiana will have a better chance, but we're probably going to have some flurries flying around. Is it going to be downright cold for your Thanksgiving Day, and cloudy and breezy too? We're taking a look at some of these models. We've got some of the major ones that are taking a look at this. And not only do we just look at these runs, there's actually multiple runs. There's usually 20 to 60 runs on some of these. We've been looking at them all to try to figure out, what's kind of the average output that some of this data is coming in, because it's all trying to register how cold that air is up north and how it's going to meet with this low pressure. We've got the Euro model. So we're getting kind of the weeds here. We don't usually have time to do this during the newscast. We usually get about 3 minutes. There's no way we could go through all this. The Euro model, we've got more snow for the northern half of Indiana, more rain to the south. If you want some snow, this is a model that you're going to want to go with, the Euro. You want to lean towards that one. The GFS, the American model, this thing takes a farther south track to the point where, because the cold air is coming in so fast, it just shoves this whole system more south towards Kentucky and Tennessee, where we get clouds and maybe some rain showers, but we may not be able to switch over to snow because the whole system's moving out. It's just so quick, it's out of here. So in that situation, there's not a lot going on in Thanksgiving. It's just going to be cold and cloudy with possibly some rain Wednesday night, but then there'll probably be flurries. Whatever model you want to go with, we think there's probably going to be flurry chances on Thanksgiving Day across much of central Indiana. And then typically the folks who get the most out of those lake effect snow showers tend to be north of Indianapolis and east of Indianapolis. So Richmond, Muncie, Newcastle, Marion, and then towards Carmel and Westfield, Noblesville, even kind of getting clipped there in Lafayette and then Kokomo. We're kind of in those zones for central Indiana to get some of those flurries. Then we have our in-house model as well. That also kind of leans a little bit on the snowier side, but still north of Indianapolis. Right now, all the data seems you've got to be north of Indy. You probably have to at least be, let's say, Lebanon, Westfield, north end of Carmel, Noblesville, Newcastle, Muncie, Winchester, and north in order to get some of these snow chances. You may get a little snow to try to mix in at times if you're farther south, but it may be tougher. The system just kind of glances right through. And even if you're getting some of this snow, it doesn't look to be huge right now. I'll be honest. If you get some snow, the accumulations would probably be less than 2 inches. And that's kind of on the, the heavier side. I think for some of us, let's say you are in Noblesville and you've got some rain at first, you kind of get some rain and snow on and off a little bit Wednesday night. It may not all stick because you've had some rain for a while. Rain will mix in at times. So we'll have to watch, but this doesn't seem to be a huge system for us. The reason why we're talking about this so much is because of the impact for so many folks driving, we're flying, we're trying to go see family, right, for this week. And so any kind of system that comes in will be impactful. And so this isn't the biggest system that we've ever had for sure. It's just coming in too quick. Doesn't have time to mature. But we will have a chance possibly for a little bit of snow north and a little bit of rain south if this thing can still track towards us. And that's still kind of a question too. But so let's talk more about the timeline. We'll get into the weeds on that one. Wednesday in the morning, clouds will be increasing. There could be a spotty shower, but I really think by Wednesday afternoon, the day before Thanksgiving, scattered rain showers move in. Once sunset hits, temperatures will be dropping, and there could be a setup where we get a little bit of snow north and rain south. I'm going to show you the map here in just a moment. So if we get into that scenario, there could be some slushy spots here and there, some slick spots waking up on Thanksgiving morning. And then we're probably going to stay on the colder side for the rest of Thanksgiving Day. We'll probably be mainly in the 30s. Some of us may technically top at 40, but mainly we'll be in the 30s. And that north wind will go over Lake Michigan, and you'll still be able to get some snow showers out of that. So still expect some flurries, but flurries aren't going to be the ones that really add, accumulation. If you get one of a bigger burst of a flurry, you guys have seen it. The ground can get kind of a dusting at some point. but that may be kind of it if, that's the only snow chance that you get. So you've really got to be north. You've really got to be north of Indianapolis if you want that rain or want that snow chance, because otherwise rain may mix in a little bit too much. So we've got some of these tracks to talk about. If you remember from yesterday, we were talking about this on YouTube, but track number 1 would take the system so far to the north that we just all get rain and the snow will be off to the north. But because the cold air is coming in so strong and so intensely and faster than we originally thought, you're kind of having to push the system farther south. So right now, option 1 doesn't look very likely. It's probably going to be more option 2 or option 3. Option 2 is the one where we track down the Ohio River, or kind of going up the Ohio River. And that would be the case where, I-70, National Road 40, and north, we got some snow chances, but you really need to get towards Lafayette, Kokomo, and Muncie, and Newcastle in order to get maybe a little bit of more of a snow chance. And that's still an if. And then farther south would be more rain shower chances. But we are kind of trending towards option 3. We're kind of going in between option 2 and option 3. That limits how much snow you can get because the whole system, this is not very big because it's not going to have a chance to mature. It's kind of small. This thing may kind of do something like this, where if you're kind of north of my hands, you're kind of north of my right hand, you may not get much at all because the whole thing goes too far south. And that would also mean just kind of rain showers for us. We're thinking option 2 or option 3. Here's kind of an option 2 situation right now, what we're thinking. You see the green. That shows you majority rain. Now, could you get snow at times or a little bit of mixture? But right now, option 2 is kind of looking more like snow at that cutoff. I mean, you got to be northern Boone County, northern Hamilton County. You've got to be in Madison County, mainly north of Pendleton. Or you got to be in Delaware County or the northern parts of Randolph County headed into Jay County. You've just got to be north to Tippecanoe County. You're going to be included on that. This could be a situation where more of northern Indiana gets a little bit of snow, while southern Indiana just kind of gets rain. And right here in Indy will probably be a little bit more on the rainy side. And when we're talking about snow, this isn't a huge blast. I mean, there could be accumulations, but like we kind of talked about earlier, if you are in this zone, inch or 2, I mean, it's kind of tough right now to say, but it doesn't look like a huge system for us because you get some rain kind of mixing in at times. So that would cut down on some of your totals. So when we're watching with Future Track 13, now let's take a look at a system or a model solution that's not so snowy. This is option 3. Wednesday night, system starts forming, not really a big system because it's being pushed so far to the south and doesn't have a time to really ramp up very much. You start getting some rain in southern Indiana. But then look, maybe you see this very light hue, and that's more towards the lake effect snow belts. This system would just pass off to the south and then not do very much. Will be cloudy, and you can kind of see here that north wind coming down, which would produce lake effect snow showers. And it's kind of hard to resolve those in some of these global models. But you would just be kind of cloudy with some flurries. But most of the activity went south. Because it went so far south, it was too warm down there. They didn't get to really do much. So that is also a scenario. I know there are a whole bunch of ifs to this, but I just want to kind of show you the range of options. Right now, if you want snow and you're living in Bloomington or Columbus, that's tough. Even Greenwood, that's tough. Shelbyville, Indy, it's going to be on the tough side. If you want a snow chance, it's still not guaranteed. You're going to have to be north of Indy. That's what we're thinking. But man, there's a lot of cold air coming in this. And then also something that we're kind of noticing is the angle of the jet stream. Notice how it is very west to east. We call this being zonal. When you're zonal, you can still produce a lot of clouds, but when you're so zonal like this, sometimes it doesn't allow the systems to really ramp up very much. When you have more of a southwest to northeast kind of upper level flow, what we can kind of go through this in meteorology school. This is getting in the weeds. When you have more of that tilt, you can actually ramp up low pressures a little bit more there towards the surface. So when we're zonal like this, things are on the weaker side. So no matter what happens, the system isn't a monster for us, but it could still be impactful, especially right here in central Indiana, if we get that rain-snow line kind of over us. But once again, most of the activity, no matter really what kind of solution you're looking at, track 1, track 2, or track 3, we still think the majority of those will take place Wednesday night. So I've kind of shifted everything into the Wednesday kind of column here. It's not going to do something all day long on Wednesday, but we'll have some rain showers in the afternoon. We'll switch maybe to that wintry mix overnight. Temperatures drop closer to freezing. We'll have to see how cold, we get, and that could kind of shift that rain snow line just a little bit. Once again, it's brief though. It's not one of these monster systems where you have that rain snow line on live Doppler 13 for hours, and whoever's north is just getting hammered, and whoever's south is just getting rain. This is kind of a quick hitter. So we'll watch. By Thanksgiving morning, a lot of that wraps up, and then I think we're cloudy with some snow showers at times. So it's going to feel cold. Your Thanksgiving is just going to be cold. And then check this out. I want to spend just a little bit of time on this. I'll step to the side so you can see. Look at all the cold air that's coming our way after Thanksgiving. So let's say you got Black Friday shopping Friday morning. You're going to start in the 20s, but the wind chills will be in the teens. You're headed to Circle of Lights. Yeah, there's a high of 33 on Friday. That's during the day, you know, and then we're going to be dropping. We'll be in the 20s probably for the Circle of Lights, and heading into Saturday, we'll start in the teens. Wind chills could be 5, 6, 7 degrees. Guys, this is going to be some serious cold coming in for the weekend. And there's also a chance, because all this cold air comes in and the jet stream just kind of lines up, we could be watching what are called Alberta clippers. These are little snow systems that come in. You guys know these. These are the ones where it's kind of a drier snow, and it just whips across central Indiana, picks up some lake effect enhancement as well, and it just kind of blasts through. Sometimes you can get a couple inches on those. Now, sometimes the snow is a little bit more powdery. We'll have to see, and it's still a ways out. But look, every single day has a little bit of a snow chance. This doesn't mean that it's going to be snowing all day, but there could be some scattered snow showers on Thursday. We'll have a few leftover flurries on Friday, I think especially Friday morning. And then on Saturday morning is probably dry. It's Saturday evening and Saturday night when we could get a little snow blast trying to come in, maybe a couple inches. I mean, we'll see. But that's kind of the next thing to watch. And then Sunday's even colder. We start there right at 14. The whole weekend, we may not be out of the freezing mark. So today might have been the nice day to actually put the Christmas lights up. Because you know, a lot of us wait till after Thanksgiving. And then look what happens after Thanksgiving. Now we're paying the price. So folks who did it early are probably happy that they did it early and are already enjoying their lights. But things are going to get a lot colder. So we're still watching Wednesday, Thursday. Chuck and Lindsay are going to have an update tomorrow morning. And then Sean and Angela are going to have one in the afternoon and evening for you guys. Stick with us. This is kind of a finicky system because it's not large. And because of this cold air blast, it can kind of meander a little bit more. And so that makes the forecast actually more complicated. If it kind of sat for a while, got big, and then came in, that might be a simpler forecast. But since it's smaller now and it's coming in so fast, kind of do whatever. You know, I kind of imagine it like a wiffle ball compared to a baseball. Wiffle ball can kind of be carried a little bit more, right? Because it's smaller, got some holes in it. And that's kind of how this system's going to be. It can still be impactful. And wiffle ball can hurt, right? So still could be impactful, but we're watching really for Wednesday night. Thanksgiving, though, it's going to be cold with some snow flurries. We appreciate you coming on digital with us for this evening. This is just kind of a weather discussion to walk you through what we're expecting for the Thanksgiving week. And even though it's not a monster system, you know, what we're thinking right now, still be impactful because we've got a lot of folks driving. Want to see some family, want to get you guys home or maybe to your family and friend's house safely. So just keep an eye on the forecast. We'll have updates throughout the week. You can also go to WTHR.com right now to our blog section. Lots of blogs. We've been busy putting out stuff for you guys, giving you all the information that we've got, sending it out to you, and you can read that on your own time. So we'll continue to update those for you, and we'll have more updates here on the web all week long, getting you ready for the final week of November. And it's a doozy of the week with all this cold air coming in right towards central Indiana. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.